Control, dreams, dance, life, control, dreams, dance, life, control, dreams, dance, life, control, dreams. Let's go.
Alright, hello, Stormbringers. I am so glad this works. I've been looking to scale C5 sites to a lot of characters for a bit of a longer time now, but all the meta comms like Marauders or spamming drone boats just at some point they stop scaling very well when you bring multiple characters. And especially, let's say if you're a corp and you do corp writing for your SAP wallet, which there are quite a lot of corps that do that, then you start to really lose the benefit of having so many people if you cram them all in one site. Now, of course, you could just use multiple sites, but it's funnier to do one site, right? So yeah, this is why I started running Stormbringers, because they never stop scaling. Because the weapons, because they chain to other NPCs, the more Stormbringers you have, the less time you spend on the site, and this doesn't really fall off like the efficiency you get from spamming more, because the more you have, the less time the NPCs will have moving around. So once you hit like critical mass on Stormbringers, you will just start one-shotting waves as soon as they spawn. But even if you don't have like, I don't know, 20 Stormbringers, then even then it is very efficient, because you still have that crucial few seconds when they spawn where they are all stuck together and you do a lot of damage because you just hit every single red. And especially on battleship waves where they don't move that fast, yeah, they're just so much better than spamming drone boats or even Marauders. Of course, if you only have, in my video, I had 6 Stormbringers, then 2 or 3 Marauders will still beat that time. But if you scale this, if you have, let's say you have 2 multiboxers, you have 3 multiboxers, and then you suddenly have 15 Stormbringers or even more, or like I said earlier, you have a corp ratting session, then this really becomes insane and you will have insane clear times. It's also much cheaper to lose this comp, because if you use Marauders, then you just commit to the grid, right? You are sieged, and if someone bubbles you, well, you're kind of fucked. But in this, since you have the prop mods and you have medium weapons, you're pretty hard to tackle, because sabers can't just cloak. You lock them fast enough, and then you can just shoot them. And Stormbringers have, I think, about the same application as heavy missiles, so it's not the best, but if you just spam them, then you will still do good damage against sabers, and you can also just burn out of bubbles. And even if NPCs tackle you, they will probably only tackle 1 or 2 ships, then yeah, you might lose 1 or 2 ships, that's probably still less than 1 billion that you lose. So it's much better, it's just much safer to red Stormbringers compared to Marauders, because you just don't lose your entire setup when you get ganked. So, the general concept is pretty obvious. I mean, you just fly from spawn to spawn, basically. It does take a bit to learn where they spawn. I saw this on myself. When I use the Marauder crap, I just click lock on my overview and then shoot them, right? You don't really care where they spawn, but in this comp you actually have to maneuver efficiently, so you kind of have to predict where they spawn. This may take 1 or 2 sites to get used to, but once you get used to it, kind of just becomes muscle memory. You want to stay in your medium range, in your short range ammo, obviously because you have the most damage. But if, let's say in the Stronghold, the 3rd and 4th wave, they spawn pretty far away, and if you're not in range yet, don't be afraid to use the long range ammo, because obviously it's less damage, but the first seconds of a spawn are the most valuable seconds, because they are all boiled up, so you want to make sure that you are applying damage in those seconds. And it would be better if it's short range ammo, but if you can only do long range ammo, then just reload real quick, do the long range ammo, then reload back once you're in range. You can do all sides with this in SC5. I really like the Stronghold side because it doesn't have a lot of EWAR, and you don't have a lot of cruiser waves. You like the most annoying wave in the Stronghold is probably the 3rd wave, because the cruisers, they approach you and I don't have enough Stormbringers to kill them before they kind of split up, so you spend a lot of time there. And other sides have more of these kind of waves, but it is still possible. I would probably recommend using a few more Stormbringers to run these sites, but it is definitely possible. You can also run C6 sites with this, maybe add some more logi. I don't know, I would say at least 3 or 4. So in total, a logi. But yeah, that's also pretty easy. One thing you want to watch out for is frigates. The frigates, they orbit you very close, and if you shoot the frigates, then your AUG will also chain onto you. And you probably also saw this in the video, but this is especially a problem for the Basilisks. I had 6 Stormbringers and I volleyed my Basilisk into about 30% shields. So I would say in general, if you shoot frigates, don't shoot them more with I don't know, 6, 7 or 8 Stormbringers, just to make sure that you don't volley your buzzies. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Skills, obviously, you need to fly the Stormbringers. I would recommend having all support skills at least to 4. In my video I had them to 4, but 5 is much better. The reason is that the range bonus you get from the skills is so important. Obviously damage as well, but the range, you can really feel the range skills when you only have them on 4 versus to 5. But yeah, it's not really that hard, to be honest, to run them. It's just muscle memory, and I hope that you will also give it a try, because this is very fun, and I like it. It's not just, you know, sitting around pressing F1, you actually have to think about a bit with your piloting, and I really like the mix of, you know, you having to use your brain in PvE, because then it's also not so boring, and it's also just very efficient. If you have a lot of characters, then this is just super cool to run around and blitz sides with. Alright, let's look at the fits real quick. They are pretty simple, very straightforward. With the Basilisk, it's a very standard fit. You have 1 energy transfer just to keep your other Buzzy up on cap. And then reps, I have 3 large, 2 mediums. This is just because it fits well, and it also works with the cap. In the lows I got the 10 man and then some tank. This Buzzy technically doesn't tank C5 sides. I mean, in the video you saw that I used a Cataclysmic Wormhole, and obviously there you tank. But even outside of Cataclysmic, 2 Buzzies are enough, because on paper you don't tank, but your signature is so low that you mitigate so much DPS. Like, basically battleships can't really hit you, and since the majority of the DPS lies in battleships, you tank easy peasy. The only problem is just when you get hit by Stormbringers, like I said earlier. Yeah, low slots also just damage control PDS, this is for power grid and a bit more shield buffer, and then in the rigs we got the EM rigs, so we can, well, try to close the EM hole. You could also use an EM Hardener and then maybe a field extender, but this results in more resistance overall, and the buffer is not too bad. You have 67k, so you don't really need more buffer in my experience. This, like I said, this tanks. If you don't feel comfortable with only running 2, maybe in the beginning you want to kind of chill, you can obviously just run 3 Buzzies and then you easily tank the side. I would also recommend, if you want to switch to C6, to run at least 3, maybe 4 Buzzies, just so it's easier. The Stormbringers are also not very special. Keep in mind, my fit uses a power grid implant, because I want triple tank rigs. If you don't want to use implants, or you have low skill characters, you can remove the extender for an ACR, and you can then use T2 LSEs and cap batteries. That's just kind of personal preference. If you have the implant, then might as well use the buffer rigs. But yeah, it doesn't really matter, even without the buffer rig. 60k buffer, it's enough. Yeah, the fit isn't very special. You have the gun, 10 man for SIG tanking. This ship actually face tanks everything, but of course SIG tank is always nice, so you don't have to sweat so much in your logi, and you can really spread the reps out. And I would say for the majority of the side, it works if every Stormbringer just has like 2 reps on them, and yeah, then you just switch reps accordingly when there's heavy DPS. But this comp really doesn't take a lot of damage, just because they are 10 man cruisers. They mitigate very well, and they have very high resistances, so you can wrap them up very fast. This one also has a medium cap battery. This is just because newts in the sides, well, there are newts, and personally I hate it when my ults get newted out and I have to cycle guns or invoints again, so I just have this here. We got triple damage in the lows, obviously, and then some resistances in the rigs. Yeah, you could also run, if you have, you could probably run Ospreys if you don't want to use Basilisk for some reason. If you don't have skills, then just, I think, I saw somebody do it with 2 Ospreys in the Cataclysmic, so maybe like 3 or 4 Ospreys, and then it will also be fine. Just be aware that they will have a bit higher SIG and less resistances. But yeah, you can see the chips are super cheap. I mean, the Buzzy costs 180 mil, that's basically free, and Stormbringer is a bit more, just because the gun and the ship is so expensive, but 650 mil, it's still decent. Yeah, there's not really a lot to the fittings, you just go into F1. The major difficulty in this game, in this comp, is just piloting. You want to know how, you want to know your route, you want to do it efficiently. So yeah, for weapons, you probably saw in the video I didn't warp into 0 on the sides. I just bookmark like a rock or a structure that is close to the big structure cluster, so I'm in the middle of the side, too close to when the battleship spawn. There's not really a specific weapon you need, just pick any structure and warp to that. Alright, and that's it. It's pretty simple to run these Stormbringers, and they are very fun, so I hope if you saw this video and you have the capacity, give it a try. Try it out. It's definitely, it's something different than just spamming Ishtars or spamming Marauders or using Dreadnoughts. I had a lot of fun running them, and I hope you have too. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you.